America isn't beating China because of Washington or Wall Street. It might be happening because of one single U.S. state, Florida. For decades, China was seen as the unstoppable economic giant, destined to dominate the global economy. But suddenly, headlines are changing. The U.S. is growing faster again. China is slowing down. And in the middle of this shift, one unexpected place keeps showing up in the data. Today, we're breaking down whether the United States is outgrowing China and why Florida might be a hidden reason behind it. The truth is far more surprising and more complicated than you think. For the last 2 decades, the global story felt inevitable. China was rising, America was aging, and the balance of economic power was supposed to shift east. China became the world's factory. Its cities exploded in size. Its GDP growth routinely doubled, sometimes tripled, that of the United States. By the 2000s, analysts weren't asking if China would surpass the US, but when. And then, something changed. China is still massive, but its growth engine is no longer roaring. Here's why. China's population is shrinking. Its workforce is aging. Its real estate sector, once a pillar of growth, is under extreme stress. And productivity growth has slowed dramatically. For the first time in modern history, China is facing long-term demographic decline. That means fewer workers, less consumption, more pressure on government spending. Economic momentum doesn't just slow. The U.S. economy was counted out many times. Too much debt, too much political chaos, too slow to build, too divided. Yet somehow, America keeps adapting. While China struggles with population loss, the U.S. continues to grow its population. While Chinese cities stagnate, American metros are expanding. And while Chinese capital tightens, global investment keeps flowing into the U.S. But here's the key twist. That growth isn't evenly spread across America. Hingtu, it's concentrating. Florida used to be seen as a retirement state. Sun, beaches, tourism. That image is completely outdated. Today, Florida is one of the fastest-growing economic zones in the Western world. Millions of people have moved there in just a few years. Businesses have followed. Capital has followed. Why? Because Florida offers something rare in modern economies. Low taxes, business-friendly regulation, massive population inflows, strategic global location, and unlike many U.S. states, Florida is still growing fast. Economic growth begins with people. Workers create output. Consumers create demand. Entrepreneurs create innovation. China is losing people every year. The U.S. is gaining them. And Florida is gaining them faster than almost anywhere else. Entire companies are relocating. Entire industries are reshaping around talent migration. Finance, tech, logistics, healthcare, aerospace. Florida is absorbing them all. This isn't just population growth. This is economic reweighting inside the United States. Here's what most people miss. Countries don't grow evenly. They grow through regions. China's growth was driven by coastal megacities like Shanghai and Shenzhen. America's new growth is being driven by states like Florida, Texas, and Arizona. Florida alone now has an economy larger than many G20 countries. If Florida were its own nation, it would rank among the top global economies. And unlike aging economies, Florida is young, expanding, and still attracting capital. Florida isn't just growing internally, it's becoming a global gateway. It connects North America, Latin America, Europe, major ports, massive logistics hubs, air traffic dominance. As global supply chains diversify away from China, Florida benefits directly. Less reliance on East Asia means more regional manufacturing, shipping, and trade. And Florida sits right in the middle of that shift. T. So, is Florida really why America is outgrowing China? Here's the problem. This idea sounds too simple. One state cannot outperform an entire nation of 1.4 billion people. And that's true. Florida is not the reason America is growing, but it is a symbol of something much bigger, the structural difference between the US and China. China's economy is centralized. America's economy is decentralized. When growth slows in China, it slows everywhere. When growth slows in one US region, another accelerates. Florida represents economic flexibility. People can move. Capital can move. Ideas can move. China doesn't have that same internal mobility at scale. That's the real difference. Economic growth today isn't just about factories. It's about talent, technology, risk-taking, capital freedom. America, and especially states like Florida, still excel at attracting those things. China's system prioritizes control and stability. America's system prioritizes experimentation and movement. One system slows gracefully. The other adapts violently, but grows. China is still huge. The US hasn't replaced it. But growth momentum matters more than size. A slowing giant loses influence. A growing system gains it. And right now, the US has momentum powered by internal migration and regional expansion. Florida isn't the engine. It's the dashboard light telling you the engine is still running. The United States isn't outgrowing China because of Florida. It's outgrowing China because people can move freely. Capital flows toward opportunity. Regions reinvent themselves. And growth isn't locked in one place. Florida just happens to be the clearest example of this advantage in action. China built its growth on scale. America is rebuilding its growth on adaptability. And in the modern world, adaptability wins. China's rise wasn't a myth. America's decline wasn't inevitable. What we're seeing now is a shift in how growth works. Not megafactories, not population size alone, but movement, flexibility, and reinvention. Florida didn't beat China. But Florida shows why the US still has something China doesn't. And that difference may define the global economy for decades to come. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the channel to find more amazing and new videos.